Alright guys, so here we go. Third tutorial using the camtrack AR from fxhome. Now, if you haven't seen my previous two tutorials, go ahead and check them out because this is kind of like an addition to the other two. But what we're going to be doing today is going to be using camtrack AR, video and tracking, and adding some CG in Blender. Now, just a disclaimer, I literally have 3 hours worth of knowledge in Blender. So as you all know, whenever I'm learning new software, I tend to make a tutorial because I refer to these tutorials later down the road whenever I need it. Okay, so my views probably come from me majority of the time. But if you don't know what a camtrack AR is, I showed it in my previous videos, but let me go ahead and show you real quick. This is the fxhome website, and they do go over it a little bit, but they don't show you what I'm about to show you. So this is kind of like an addition to what they show you. But basically, camtrack AR is an app that will record video and at the same time record 3D tracking information for that video. So it has a built-in 3D tracker and it's free. So far I have been using it and I've been okay with just the free version. So let me go ahead and show you real quick. So pretty much, as you can see right there, he's recording the scene, and right there is the paid version because he's adding more than one tracker. You only get one tracker on the free version, but like I said, I have been only using the free version so far, and as you can see what he's doing, he's actually tracking the table, and it's creating a floor plane, and it's creating a tracker at the same time, simultaneously recording the video. Okay, so when using that app, like I said previously, you're gonna get 3 files. You're gonna get a Blender importer plugin, you're going to have the video file, and you're going to have the hit film tracker information. So I'm going to go ahead and double click the video file so you can see it. So we have this overcast sky shot outside with the iPhone 12. Alright, unfortunately you can't control the resolution. It was shot at 1920 by 1440, so it's 4:3 aspect ratio. That's one of the downsides, but just bear with me, just check this thing out. So another thing we're going to need is an HDRI. So I'm going to try and see if I can find something here that will match kind of like the lighting we had with the actual original footage. And I found this here. So I'm going to go ahead and download this. It's kind of like overcast and green and kind of like road and stuff. So let's go ahead and download this one. And again, this is free here. So I'm going to go to 16K HDR. It's a little bit overkill, but you know, YOLO, right? So 20 seconds, 30 seconds to download that. And then we're gonna need a Blender 3D model, which I have here. I got it for $17 because it's all Black Friday sale right now. And so this is what we're gonna be working with. This little car here, which looks really cool. Looks amazing. Awesome car for that cheap, man. That's some good stuff. And it's made by this guy. So make sure you guys support these artists. Really talented people. So without being said, let's go ahead and get this party started. Let's go ahead and enable that plugin. So if I go to edit and preferences, I already have it enabled, but I'm just showing you where you would enable it. So if I go to hit film here, you would kind of like, all right, so I'm gonna go ahead and install it here, and you're just gonna go to that place where you put that 3 files like I showed you guys. So it's right there, it's already enabled, so I'm good to go. If I go right here, hit, you're gonna see that I have it enabled right here. Next thing I'm gonna change is the camera movements. Like I said, 3 hours in Blender, that's all I have, and one of the things that I'm getting used to is navigating. So I found a little shortcut here, and so if I can do fly right here, view navigation, walk, fly, I just changed it to Shift F. But what that does is it lets me kind of WASD my way around the 3D space. So it's a lot better than trying to click and stuff, which was really annoying. So let me go exit out of that, and let me go ahead and back up because there's a camera right there. It comes standard with Blender whenever you open it. So let's go ahead and delete that. Let's go ahead and open that car that we downloaded. So if I go to file, open, no, I'm not gonna save it. If I go to D downloads, it's not in D downloads, it's actually in right here. It's called this car. Okay, so as you can see, the car is uploaded and it's all the way over there. So I'm gonna go Shift F again and Shift. I'm gonna go ahead and run. Like I said, there's probably a lot better ways than doing this, guys, but I'm just kind of working my way through right now. So right now this is how I got it to work. So this is good to go. I'm gonna do Q and E, and that's gonna go up and down. So I'm gonna go exit out of there, and what I'm gonna do now is import that tracking information from the app. So same thing. We're gonna go to Javen. All right, gonna go downloads. Same thing. There you go. That's gonna create a camera. So what we're gonna do is number pad 0. Oh, the camera is wrong. So exit out of that. What you're gonna do is select this car rig, and then I'm just gonna go ahead and move it in 3D space here because it is way too close to the camera. Now try not to move your camera because it's gonna jack up the tracking. So if I go press 0 again in the numpad, you see that that movement is there, and that is really good. Alright, so next thing I'm going to do is we're going to project that background image or that video behind this thing right here so we can kind of see a little bit better. So to do that, let's go ahead and go to our camera and go to the camera properties right here, and then we're going to go to background image, scroll this down, we're going to add an image, we're going to do a movie clip because it is a movie, and we're going to go ahead and go to that same exact folder where the 3 files are. So it's right here. Okay, there you go. And as you can see, it is way off. All right, so we have to move this. Sorry, it's lagging here a little bit. I'm gonna go ahead and scroll out so you can kind of see all 800 some frames. I'm gonna go right, but as you can see right there, it is tracked, and this is really the beauty of this app, is that it tracks it for you. So what I'm gonna do is I change my view to 3D viewport, and I'm gonna go ahead and transform this here. Actually, I had that camera selected, so I'm gonna have the select the camera, or I can just do it right here, camera rig. And then what I'm gonna do is just change this. I'm gonna exit out of camera view. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and select the car rig now, and I'm gonna move it left, and then I'm gonna go ahead and rotate it to the right. Oh, not that way, to the Z. Okay, then we're gonna go click press 0 again. Okay, so that's a little bit better. At least moved it out of the way. So I'm gonna go ahead and click it again, and I don't know why. Oh, there you go. Now I can move it here, and I'm gonna go ahead and pull it, kind of pull it back like so. Okay, just gonna put it in the scene. And if you've done any 3D tracking before, this is probably blowing your mind as much as blowing my mind, which is a simple app like that from the AR kit. That's pretty incredible stuff. So I'm gonna leave it as is right now, but if we render this, it's not gonna look right because it's the environment and stuff is pulling from the original file that the 3D creator had for the car. And as you can see that right now, the position is right, but the HDRI and all that stuff is not correct. All right, so let's go ahead and exit out of that, and I'm gonna go ahead and save it so we don't jack it up. Tutorial. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and start messing around with some backdrop stuff. So we have that in there for the viewport, so that's okay. And what we're gonna do is go to shading, and we're gonna change this to world. And then what I'm gonna do is change this. He has a shader set up for the world here, so this is kind of like an HDRI-ish type of deal. So you'll see what it does is if I crank this up to like 12, you'll see what happened. If I click this right here, viewport shading, you're gonna see that that's gonna crank it up pretty high. So this is kind of like his HDRI here. So I'm gonna press the 2. You see that the HDRI lighting on the card changes. All right, so you guessed it, we are gonna change this backdrop to the HDRI that we got. So let's go ahead and open that, and then we're gonna go to our downloads again, and then we're gonna go to this small ruler. I can't say it. Small rural map. There you go. And now that lighting transferred to that. So let's go to 3 so you can kind of see what it's doing. It's nice, man. This is, look at that. See, that's really cool. If you change the background strength, that will change the intensity of the light. Okay, and you can move that light around by using the mapping here. So if you have like a sun clearly visible, you want to match it, you want to match the shadows and stuff like that, you can move that around here. So with that being said, let's go back to our rendering here, and in my compositing, and this is the compositing node system. Now this is really one of the reasons why I try to stay away from Blender, and I use 3ds Max instead because I hate nodes. But just to make this tutorial for you guys, I learned some stuff. Okay, so here you go. Let's see if we can figure this out. I'm gonna drag this render layer, which is your CG element, so you can see right there. I'm gonna drag this viewer, and I'm gonna drag this composite up here. Alright, so right now it's all kind of jacked up, but you can see that the background layer is pulling from this right here. Alright, and it's doing some color correction, which I turned off the sharpness, so you guys saw, because it was too sharp already. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna create a node, so Shift A, and I'm gonna put the node to be an input. I'm gonna make it a movie clip, and I'm gonna put it right here. And the next thing we're gonna do is I'm gonna move this around, Shift A, and we're gonna do an alpha over, and then what we're gonna do is go for an alpha over, similar to like Unreal Engine 4. So we're gonna put that there. What we're gonna do is put this up here, and then we're gonna put this below, and then we're gonna go to the alpha over, and we're gonna go to the viewer right here, and then we're also gonna put that in the composite, just like so. And I'm gonna go ahead and change this to the video that we have. Okay, so when it renders, it should pull our video instead of the guy's video. So let's see if that works. So that's pulling from the HDRI, so that works, so that's really good. But y'all saw, we don't want the HDRI's background, we want our background. So how do you fix that? Go right here, you go to the render properties, and you scroll down, go to film, click this transparent, and then do it again. Okay, there you go. So you can see it changes it there now, so that's good. That's what we want. Alright, so what I'm going to do is jacking it up here. I'm going to go ahead and disconnect this here. I'm going to delete this, and then I'm going to create a new composite. So Shift A, and I'm just going to go ahead and do a composite here. Yeah, for some reason it was screwing it up. So I'll go to this, just like so, and let's see if this works. And there you go. Perfect. That's what we want. Now it's kind of fake, right? Even though the lighting is coming from an HDRI, but the grass is grass right here, even though it's greener than what we have, but it kind of sells the effect that it's the same lighting. Now I could have used the actual video footage itself as an HDRI, but the quality was not good enough. It's only 1920 by 1440, so it's not really that good. So that's good that it's there. So what we're gonna do is just, let's go ahead and move that car to the right a little bit, because it is, you know, to the left. Oh, go ahead and press 0. That's one of the things I kind of hate about this thing, is moving the camera and moving stuff. See, look at that. I'm still moving the camera even though I have the car rig selected. But, you know, if you have some tips and tricks for me, man, I would appreciate that. So press 0. I moved it too much. So I'm going to go back to the car rig. And now I should be able to do that. Alright, so let's press F12. Pretty happy with the GPU rendering speed, actually. This is pretty fast stuff, guys. I mean, I know I've been telling you guys, kind of telling you how when I started was a youngster, and you know, an Intel Pentium 4, the rendering stuff in 3ds Max, it was not cool. Now I'm not gonna go ahead and mess around with it too much, so we can go ahead and continue on. But you kind of see the point, right? We're superimposing a 3D car in an iPhone 12 video using camtrack AR. So I'm not gonna perfect this right here because, you know, it's the scale is wrong and all that stuff. But let's go ahead and continue on. You get the point, right? So now we have a tracked camera inside a inside Blender, and added a CG on top in a couple of clicks without having to do with 3D tracking at all. This is insanity. So what's next? All right, so what I'm gonna do is actually, this is already in place and all, but we're missing something here, and that's actually the floor plane. I mean, with every CG stuff, the floor plane is what sells it, right? So I'm gonna go to my perspective, Shift A, and I'm gonna go ahead and create a mesh plane, and then I'm gonna go ahead and select that plane and see if I can move it. All right, good. So I can move it. I'm going to put it right under the car. I'm going to rotate it a little bit. Okay, and then I'm going to scale it up. I don't have to do the Z one. Okay, and then we're going to move it back again. So it's covering the car. And I'm going to move it in the Z just to kind of just have it touch the tires there. Barely. So I'm going to do my key, Shift F, so we can take a look. That's good. You want it kind of like, well, that's a little bit too much. You kind of want it like digging into the ground plane a little bit. Oh, sorry, I meant to move the plane. So let's go ahead and move the plane. There, that looks pretty good. All right, so next we're gonna click the plane and we're gonna go right here, and then we're gonna go scroll down and we're gonna click Shadow Catcher, and then I'm gonna go ahead and remove diffuse and glossy, and then now let's press F12 to take a quick render. And here's our shadow. Now it has a little shadow there. A lot better than before, right? Pretty sick. This is some sick stuff. Okay, so guys, that's pretty much it. How easy was that? So I'm gonna go ahead and save it, because now comes the fun part. We're gonna go ahead and render this out and composite it in After Effects. You can composite it here if you want, like so, but I don't want to do that. I want to do it in After Effects because I can control it a little bit better. But let's go ahead and make this background invisible so we can export it as a PNG with alpha. All right, so to do that, we're going to go here again in compositing. I'm going to do Shift A, and we're going to do an image, and I'm going to drag it here, and I'm going to disconnect our movie clip, and then I'm going to go and connect that image. So now it's completely invisible. I'm going to go ahead and save. Let's go ahead and do a render. So we should only get the car now. Now it's actually a better idea if you separate the shadow from the CG element, but for this tutorial we're combining both of them so we can composite both of them at the same time. Okay, awesome. We don't have the backdrop anymore, and just to make sure, I'm going to go ahead and save this as a copy, and I'm going to go ahead and, not that one, I'm going to create a new folder. Okay, and then we're going to go with new folder, title it EA, and I'm just going to save it there. I just want to make sure it is an actual PNG with alpha, because if not, it's going to screw it up, but it does look like it. I'm getting this error from After Effects. It's really annoying. After Effects is really starting to annoy me. You know, it's like, look at this, not responding. I'm gonna drag and drop it here, but I just want to see if that thing that we created has alpha, which looks like it does. Perfect, it has alpha. Awesome. So let's go ahead and close out of that. I'm gonna go ahead and close out of this, and I'm gonna go delete that file, because I'm gonna delete this file because we're actually gonna render this out as a movie. So rendering stuff, this is the fun stuff, my favorite. Frame start is gonna be 0, and the step is gonna be 1. Frame rate is going to be 60 frames per second. Like I said, one of the downsides of camtrack AR. We're going to do a PNG RGBA. Color depth, I can change it to 16. And then I'm not going to do any compression. We're going to go as is. And then I'm going to change the output to that folder we just created. So go to Yay, Accept. And then right here, I just want to make sure we're good to go. And I'm going to use Cycles, which is the render engine. I'm going to do GPU compute. And then I'm going to turn this baby up to, actually 500 doesn't do too bad. I'm going to leave it as default for now. I'm not going to do any denoising or anything like that, because that takes a long time. Light paths, I'm not going to mess around. I'm going to leave everything by default. Make sure transparent is on. 256 tiles, that's good. And then, yeah, let's go ahead and render this thing. Render, and then we're going to do render animation. And then I'm going to go ahead and pause this recording and come back when this is over. Okay guys, so we are back after a couple of hours or so. I just let it export a couple of frames up to like 600 frames or so, but we have it exported, so let's go ahead and hop in to After Effects. Okay, so here we are in After Effects. Let's go ahead and open that file called Yay, and then we're going to open our video again from the iPhone in the app. I'm gonna go ahead and change this to 24 frames per second so we get a little bit more playback. And I'm gonna do the same exact thing here. And then what I'm gonna do is just drag and drop this into a new composition, and I'm gonna drop that on top. And then we're gonna go ahead and go to quarter so you get a little bit faster playback, and press 0. So let's just let this buffer here in a second, and you should be able to see. It's such, man, I know I keep saying it, but it's a pretty darn amazing technology, you know, like being able to just shoot a video with 3D tracking using your phone, and then compositing a CGI in a free software. So we're talking a free Blender software, free iPhone app. I mean, the only thing so far that we paid for is the CGI and After Effects. It's such a crazy times we're living in. So I'm gonna let this finish here in a second, and then we're gonna give it a full playback. And to be honest, it took me like 2 seconds to track this using the app. It's insane. Okay, so here we go. I'm gonna go ahead and go to the beginning and press play, so you get a little bit of a better playback here. Pretty darn crazy. And let's look at the full quality so you can kind of see it. I mean, whenever it's in quarter, it's kind of wonky, but in full quality, you see that the iPhone tracker did such a good job at tracking this right here. Alright guys, well, if you have any questions, let me know. If you've learned something new today, go ahead and give me a like so that I can make more videos like this. I'll see you guys later.